86 Charles is brought to you by Amazon. Go to 86charles.com and click on the Amazon link. Amazon is the perfect place to start prepping for the end, now that the Donald is president. The apocalypse is nigh.
We will protest, resist, and continue to practice civil disobedience until we can clearly state that this regime is at an end. If these demands are not met, we will not let you sleep without hearing our voices ring across this great nation through your streets and into your mansions and towers. On March 1st, you will know the true extent of the American people's power and influence. We are a nation founded on revolution, and we will continue that tradition until our government is once again stable and in competent hands. The people demand the downfall of this regime. Operation Resistance engaged. We are anonymous. We are Americans. We do not forgive your tyranny. We will not forget your treason. On March 1st, expect us all.
Hi, this is Charles. You are full of bullshit, my friend. I will sue you for everything you have. I will sue your ass.
Welcome to 86 Charles, with your hosts John Darby and Travis Spencer.
And with that, welcome to 86 Charles. Travis Spencer, welcome back.
John
Are
Derby.
you frightened?
My brain is hurting. Is it 2012? Is it 2011? Why are we still listening to these?
2017, my friend.
Why are we still listening to these anonymous clowns who have done? I don't want to say it, but they haven't done shit. They haven't done shit in years. Everybody got
Are
busted.
you kidding me?
They haven't done anything.
Do you know how much of the dark net they just shut down? How many pedophile sites they just knocked out?
I hope so. Is it true? Do I know that?
What do you mean you hope so? They did it
You have facts? You have...
just days ago.
Okay, so they knocked out pedophile sites. Great. Good. What else? Like...
That's awesome.
So what's this March 1st thing going to be? We're going to march? They're going to...
I don't know.
You know what? You know what happens when you're like this fake computer voice and this fake computer? Like you can knock out websites, but when you get people to try to rally and motivate, like it doesn't happen. You know when that happens? When you're like...
But here's what...
Like the Women's March. It was like, we're real people. We're real marchers. We want to put our faces out there and be like, it doesn't... We can't be anonymous anymore. You have to be clear in your state of conscience and your legal standing and your financial standing in the world, and you have to look at people in the eye and you have to be like, fuck you. There's no more to this anonymous bullshit. Like, come out of the closet, show us who the fuck you are. Do you have actually something to say? It's over, man. The anonymous thing is over. It's not going anywhere. We have to be transparent in who we are, and that I'm not afraid to tell you you're an asshole to your face in person and online. That's it, John. The anonymous bullshit is over.
Oh, well, since you say so, I guess.
Yes, I am the arbiter.
That's a wrap. I guess that's the...
Nailed it.
Sorry. Hey, guys, everybody. Sorry. It's over now.
That was this
Travis.
podcast.
I thought he was still on board. No. No. He says, in fact, it's over. Done. Completely. Sorry, guys. Yeah, that's a wrap. Actually, what they've always said, especially about this administration, is that information never goes away. And especially information that is on the internet or could be found on the internet or at any point existed on the internet doesn't go away. So you don't think that it's possible, and I don't know. I have no idea what it is. I don't know what March 1st means. I don't know what their means are when they say that this administration needs to leave by February 28th. But it's possible that they have some sort of information on an individual who has not been particularly transparent in his life, as you are such a big fan of. So maybe that's the transparency that's coming. And you can't put a face on that because, and especially with this administration and regime, they'll crush you. They'll come and take whatever you have because they have more power and more clout and more money than all of us. So you don't think it's smart to keep some people in the shadows, to keep some people in the dark, to keep some people anonymous? You don't think that that's smart?
Sure, it's smart. It's just not good. It just doesn't work anymore. And when you stay anonymous, when you don't put yourself out there, that's when you can be erased. You know, like if you
But
are,
I think it requires all. I think it's such a large problem that it requires all of it. I think the Women's March was awesome, and I think protests of that nature, Dakota Pipeline, things like that. Yes, you have to have feet on the ground. You have to have faces behind the voices.
right?
But in a case like this, maybe where maybe they're playing. I mean, again, I don't know what it is. It could be all speculation. It could be all nonsense.
I'm with you. You have to
But
attack
I
it
don't
from all
find it
fronts.
impossible to believe that somebody somewhere with a lot more computer savvy than myself has some information on a rather shady individual that maybe has gone forgotten or maybe wasn't known and was kept unknown on purpose
No, I mean,
for maybe something just like this.
the information has been great. We've gotten so many leaks. Julian Assange, we're talking WikiLeaks, we're talking Bradley Manning, who's now Chelsea Manning, we've got Snowden. You're like, it's happening, but those,
But if somebody has a video of Donald Trump getting peed on by Russian leaders, that's a big deal, man. That's a big deal.
Russian leaders or Russian prostitutes?
I said Russian leaders.
When have you heard that? The story was that it was Russian prostitutes. That's supposed to
I
be
just
bull-
said it.
Yeah, that's stupid. Like,
I picture Trump in an office with Russia's leaders, and they've all just got hoses out, just letting him have it.
oh, so you mean Robert Kraft and Trump are just sitting there, and Kraft is getting peed on, and he hands over his ring? Is that how he got it? He got peed
Why
on.
is Robert Kraft there?
You know that Putin has his first Super Bowl ring, right?
I don't know that. Is that true?
Oh, this is 100% true. This story came around a lot this week. It's like Robert Kraft was with a friend who knew Putin, and at some point Robert Kraft handed Putin his ring or gave it to his friend, and Putin looked at it and he's like, "Oh, I like this," and he just kept it. It's some gangster ass shit. He just took Robert Kraft's ring.
Oh, I think I have heard that story, actually, because I feel like Putin's done that in other cases where he just, like, pockets things.
And just probably peed on him on his way out. Him and Trump were hanging out, and they peed on
So
everybody.
Kraft never got that ring back? Is that
I don't
what you're saying?
think so. I don't think so. And obviously, he's probably was like, it's not worth it.
I think you need to do some follow-up before you make that a fact.
No, I'm. They were talking about it all week. He didn't ever say he's got
No,
it
I
back.
hear what you're saying, and I believe I've heard that story, but to say that he never got it back seems odd.
I'm pretty sure that Putin still has the ring.
But but Robert Kraft didn't give it to him then. He got gangstered out of it.
That makes it a better story.
That adds even more credence to what I was saying.
Putin still owns Robert Kraft's ring, thanks to a misunderstanding.
No, he stole it. He doesn't own it. He stole it.
Exactly.
Okay. So that makes it even more likely that him and his buddies all peed on Donald Trump.
But I'm just saying, like, okay, so
He's a gangster like that.
But do these videos motivate you anymore? Like, when I first saw these videos, I was like, oh, awesome. Yeah, these shady guys who know a lot about computers are really going to change things. And there were a couple really cool movements, and they did some cool thing, mostly against the Church of Scientology. They haven't done anything of big proportion against the government. They've done little hacks here and there, and then they get busted, they get shut down, people get locked up for life. It's just not... It's not the revolution we need. We need a bigger revolution. We need a revolution of people who have that savvy and can put it out on people.
The thing that interests me about it is, like it or not, the next world war will be fought with technology and through computers. It's not just going to be people shooting and stabbing and blowing each other up. Of course, it'll still be that, but it won't be primarily that. When you can infect somebody's electrical grid and nuclear power plants and things of that nature, that's where the next world wars are going to occur.
John, we've already seen them.
So I'm always curious about this group and people like this, because I'm hoping that they're fighting on our side. I'm using air quotes when I say our side, because I mean the side of the people that aren't rich, the people that aren't in power. And I'm hoping that they're fighting on our side, and I'm hoping that they are some sort of an equalizer in a system that is so completely unfair against, again, air quotes, us. I'm hoping that there are things that can even the playing field a little bit.
We know how the future is going to be fought. We've already seen the movie, John. It's Small Soldiers. You've seen Small Soldiers, right? That's how it happens.
We've already talked about Small Soldiers.
I know. I'm going to bring it up every week. It's a brilliant movie. I love it. Little drone
Pretty sure
people.
That's not the future of warfare, you weirdo.
Well, we've got the drones, we've got hacking, we've got all. It's already happening. You know, what it's going to be is a psychic evolution where they come and they you in the brain, John. That's when it happens.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just see what happens March 1st.
I'm going with psychic evolution. They you in the brain. You're going with some kind of anonymous revolution. March 30th. Whatever, buddy. March 1st? 31st? What are we doing?
March 1st.
All right. March 1st.
The demands are that they are to be the regime is to be over by February 28th.
Oh, yeah. Donald Trump's just going to walk away. He's going to be like, you know what? These scary guys on the internet with, they got a voice coder, I don't know if it's a woman or a man, and he wears this mask. Really scared the shit out of me. I'm out of here, guys. It's been real. They've got some information on me. Apparently, Putin peed on me.
Well, you're right. No one acts more rationally than him. So I'm sure that there'll be, if there is anything to respond to, I'm sure it'll be a rational response.
Signing off, Donald Trump. We'll have to 86 him at the end of the show because he's done. Because March 1st, these scary guys with those internet videos taking down the president. All right, John, I'm with you 100%.
I mean, that's not true because you're not rational either.
You're not a real person.
No, you are. You were sent here to test my patience.
I am with you. I will fight for you, and I will win for you. Shut the f*** up, Donnie.
You can say that again. You can say that again.
The greatest jobs president that God ever created.
Forget it, Donnie. You're out of your element.
You can say that again. You can say that again.
Yeah, I'm actually a nice person.
Shut the f*** up, Donnie.
You can say that again. You can say that again.
Things are gonna change under President Trump.
My party is going crazy.
You can say that again. You can say that again.
Remember this, it's a rigged election, a rigged system. Russia, if you're listening.
God bless America.
Brother, you can say that again.
Nah.
Nickel,
what? 5 topics currently trending. Travis, how's the air?
John, I got big news. Since Trump got elected, everything in the world is going right.
Oh,
now
that is big news.
That's a great statement. In China, there is pollution fighting vertical forests that are being built. Are you excited? China has pollution problems. So an Italian architect came up with the idea. The Chinese city of Nanjing is getting a vertical forest, a set of 2 buildings stylized with around 1,100 trees each and a combination of over 2,500 shrubs and plants.
Do we know if it works?
Well,
or are they just hoping?
There's a bunch of plants, and you know what plants produce? Plants suck in carbon dioxide and put out oxygen, right?
No,
That's why
I know how plants work.
Well, let me continue. It's not all about how it looks. The Nanjing Towers will absorb enough carbon dioxide to make about 132 pounds or 60 kilograms of oxygen every day. China's vertical forest is scheduled to be completed sometime next year. At the time of writing, Nanjing has an air quality index of 167, which categorizes it as unhealthy. For reference, Sydney and New York both have moderate indexes of about 60, and London sits at 100, which is moderate and unhealthy. Where does it have any of like a really bad city? It doesn't say what a really bad city's index is. The towers will be between 354 and 656 feet tall. Oh, they will be 354 and 656 feet tall, respectively. The shorter tower will house a Hyatt hotel, while the taller one will be home to a museum, offices, and architecture school. This is something we should be doing all along. We should be farming like this. Like in big cities, like it's so much work to bus in. You think of all the fuel and stuff to get, but if we had vertical farms and like towers where people were farming, we could actually save. One, we're producing more oxygen like this, and two, we're producing food. Like, how come this isn't already happening? John, why?
I mean, that's a good question. Because, I'll be honest with you. I've never really, in terms of a solution for pollution, I never thought of that, a vertical forest. But I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, what if it cleans up Nanjing, and then we can bring it to Beijing and Hong Kong, the cities where it's completely horrific. Or in New York, it's like, New York is good, not good because it has Central Park, but I'm sure Central Park helps. Most cities don't have a giant, amazing park in the middle. Have you ever been to?
True.
I've been in New York, but I never went to the parks. I just only been there.
I've been to Central Park.
It's a pretty good sized park, right? It's a huge park.
Oh, it's huge. No, it's not good size. It's huge.
Do you feel that, like, you lived in New York for a little while? Do you feel the difference around the park as opposed to the rest of the city? Like the air is cleaner type of thing?
In terms of air quality, I can't really speak on that, but there's definitely a different vibe. I mean, you're in a giant park in the middle of a booming metropolis. So yeah, it does seem a little, and that's why you see a lot of people go there like for their lunch break or just to even just to work outside, because it is a little bit of an escape from the city, and it's right in the middle of the city.
Yeah, in LA, I lived right by Pan Pacific Park, it's not a huge park, but it was so cool to just have that. It's like it's such a big, I don't know if China has parks, but we should obviously have more parks, but it's kind of hard to build a park after the city is already developed. So this kind of tower thing might be a good solution for that. And plus, we should grow food on it.
I think it's a great idea.
You know what the people aren't ready for, though? It's going to bring a lot of damn rodents and pests and shit like that. And I don't, it's like you got to find a good solution that's not more chemicals.
Right. But, that seems like a easier problem to deal with than we can't breathe.
Yeah. I mean, breathing is pretty optimal. Let's work on breathing first.
Let's fix that first. Then you know what? We'll deal with the pest problem.
All right, John, what you got? That's enough about Chinese towers.
Well, you know who's back? Our old friend CRISPR.
Oh, CRISPR.
CRISPR used in cows to help fight tuberculosis. Move over, CRISPR chickens, pigs, and goats.
Stop it.
Everyone's favorite DNA editing tool is another step closer to transforming the barnyard. Researchers at China's Northwest Agriculture and Forestry University devised a CRISPR/Cas9 technique to give cloned dairy cows a leg up against the bacteria behind bovine tuberculosis. Last year, another group used TALENs, an older gene editing technology, to create 2 cows without horns, but this is the first time CRISPR has been reported to insert a gene in cattle. The team cut and pasted a bovine gene for NCAMP1, a protein linked to resistance against TB and other bacterial infections, into fetal dairy cow genomes. When scientists use CRISPR/Cas9 to insert genes, there could be unintended effects or mutations in other parts of the genome. In this case, researchers strategically selected an area of DNA to reduce those effects. Through cloning, mother cows gave birth to 20 calves with the NCAMP1 gene. All 11 of the calves that survived past 3 months showed heightened TB fighting abilities in lab test. So, they're already starting to figure out how to use CRISPR to fix disease in cows. That's interesting, man.
John, I'm going to give you a little trivia question. What do King Tut, Sir Walter Scott, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Edgar Allan Poe. Oh wait, hold on. Let me start this over. What do King Tut, Simon Bolivar, John Keats, Edgar Allan Poe, George Orwell, and Anton Chekhov all have in common?
They all died of tuberculosis.
They sure did. John. You know what? With this amazing technology, thanks to CRISPR, maybe we can save the lives of some amazing people. Edgar Allan Poe never would have died. He'd still be alive today if it wasn't for tuberculosis.
Well, I was gonna say, not to mention, I was like, we've done a pretty good job against tuberculosis in humans. We've actually got a pretty good leg up on that.
You know who beat tuberculosis?
I think one of the presidents, didn't they?
Adolf Hitler, John.
Oh, Hitler had TB?
Hitler got TB and he beat it. So I don't know. I don't know where I stand on tuberculosis.
I thought one of our presidents battled tuberculosis as well.
Definitely, I think there's maybe not on this list. I don't see it. Either way, CRISPR is amazing, right?
CRISPR is amazing, man.
Especially when it's used for good. I mean, eventually we're going to get full-grown men growing dragon dicks and stuff like that. But, that's fine too.
Well, but, one thing at a time. But hopefully that'll come after we've expunged all the good stuff out, and then people just start getting bored with it and being like, how do I get a dragon penis?
The weird thing's going to be when, you go to the gynecologist and, you just got pregnant or whatever, and they just, plug something in to the, the money slit, and they're like, okay, what do you want? Click, 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 click.
Yeah.
Click, 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 click. Yeah.
I mean, we're basically going to be downloading in our own bodies, man.
Yeah. Which, it might be amazing, it might not. I don't know. Honestly, tomorrow...
It's like anything. There's good and bad, and you just hope that it's more good than bad.
I'm still of the point, if there's anything, if I can put contact lenses in that can make me see through walls, I'm still with it. If I have to get implants, that's where I get, or if I have to start, that's where with the transhumanism thing, it gets a little weird. If I can add anything on and use technology to help me, I'm down with it. But once you start literally inserting and, but that's going to be the only way we're really going to make the next leap.
I was just going to say, and you say that now because it doesn't exist. But, 20 years ago, people would have been like, wait a second, you walk around with a phone on all the time? That's crazy.
Right. You can't go anywhere without it. You don't.
Maybe not 20, maybe 30 years ago. I'll
you're lost. You're absolutely lost without this device that tells you everything, reminds you of everything. It's keeps you connected to the universe.
That's my point. If someone had told you would walk around with a computer in your pocket all day, every day, at some point you'd have been like, that's nonsense. That's crazy. I don't even know what you're talking about. None of that makes sense. And so eventually it's going to get a point where it's like, yeah, of course it's in my DNA. Why wouldn't it be? That's how we do things now.
We must.
So as weird and scary as it seems to us, at some point it's gonna just be common practice.
I guarantee you, the kids aren't scared. They're like, yeah, I'll take an implant.
Oh, they don't care. They can't
now.
wait. They can't wait. They're like, dude, put an outlet in me right now.
I need to plug in. I need some juice.
Yeah, are you kidding me? They have no qualms.
All right, well, let's stick with this futuristic theme, John. Did you know that Elon Musk has started digging a giant underground tunnel in Los Angeles?
I did not know that.
So in January of last year, he presented a proposal to the Hyperloop Pod competition for a company that would lighten traffic through the use of underground tunnels. 1 year later, Musk has begun construction of a tunnel that could begin in Los Angeles by the end of February. Oh, no, he mentioned the construction of a tunnel. Sorry. Musk has not fallen short of his promise. His new boring machine began to dig a tunnel as part of a demonstration at SpaceX's Hyperloop Pod competition last weekend. Although the machine has only created a mere hole, his team plans to eventually construct a full-fledged tunnel. Musk hasn't been too clear about how the tunnel will function, but the Hyperloop could be involved. This article is way worse than I thought it'd be. But essentially, he has this giant boring machine that is starting to dig tunnels. It's only digging holes right now because they're pointing it down. But once they get it deep, it'll start digging through. And it looks out of this world. I don't even know.
My first thought was Total Recall.
It makes me think of CERN.
The giant drilling machines.
Yeah. Oh, man. But that's it. We're going to get... Are you ready for... This is some Batman.
I don't know how else you fix the traffic. And if boring a hole underneath the 405 makes that thing less miserable, go for it, dude. Drill on.
You fix the traffic, John, you leave Los Angeles. You just leave. Just go.
Well,
what's
sure.
holding you there? Just leave.
But you would have to have a lot of people leave in order to actually fix the problem. Sure, I could fix it if I weren't in it.
I fix the traffic problem by moving to a mountain.
And I'm not in LA traffic, so it's less of a problem for me.
It's kind of the same. It's not as bad, but it's right.
Definitely not as bad.
It's still bad.
Definitely
it's not like
as bad.
I get mad now if there's like 3 people with a stop sign. I don't have any stoplights in my town, John. The town of Idlewild, California,
but that's all perspective,
has no stoplights. Exactly.
My mom is convinced that Tucson has way too much traffic. It's crazy. It's just based on what you're used to and what it used to be like. Sure, there's more, but it's not. It's not the same.
Right, but yeah, in LA it is a legitimate problem. But that's just
it's a disaster. It's terrible.
There's too many people. There's way too many people in a small area, and there's a ton of money to be made. That's it. There's so much money there that it's going to keep attracting people, and there's so much hope, and like all the dynamics that make LA great and amazing and terrible at the same time, right?
I still feel like an improvement in the public transportation system would help.
Right.
But even with that, I mean, New York's got a very good public transportation system, and their traffic is terrible. Terrible.
Right.
Maybe
but
even worse than LA.
The majority of people use public transportation as opposed to the taxis, and it's like
right, and it's still gridlocked all the time though. So explain that.
I don't know.
How is it nobody has or uses a car yet every street is packed all day every day?
I'm locking up in fear just with this conversation. This is why I live on a mountain where I can get to a trail and I can get to the top of the mountain in 3 hours. All right, John, I can be completely alone from everybody who ever
existed in the world. Small price to pay to be on top of the mountain, my friend.
You don't know what it's like, bro.
You're in the mountains. I'm on top of the mountain.
Challenge you to a hike off, bro. You could never match my skills hiking.
I beg to differ. But you're such a fragile body and spirit. I fear nothing from you physically. The only thing I will always concede to you is soccer. You would beat me in soccer all day, every day. I don't even know if I could defend well enough to not embarrass myself.
Hiking or
but
like
outside of
mountaineering?
soccer, I concede nothing to you.
Like first man to the top of the mountain, you think you'll win?
I mean, if I knew how to get to as long as it wasn't based on, hey, do you directionally know how to get there?
No, it's like
it's
a trail. It's a trail. It's well cut. It's well marked. You should know where you're going.
Sure.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We'll do a podcast on top of the
physically.
mountain after I beat you. As I'm waiting for you, I'll bring my recorder and I'll have it all set up so when you finally get there, we can record a podcast.
See, I don't think it's a coincidence that you're trying to get me to do it while I'm ill. You know that's your only chance. You know my eardrum will burst the second I start climbing a mountain right now.
You're always ill and weak. Moving on.
Please. I'm like friggin' unbreakable, bro. All right. Speaking of unbreakable, your boy Tom Brady.
TB!
Have you seen his missing jersey?
No.
Tom Brady and his missing jersey have still not been reunited. The investigation, which is being led by the Houston Police Department's Major Offenders Division, has so far not turned up any leads on who swiped the jersey. Houston Police Executive Assistant Chief George Bunick said today, what is today, Tuesday?
Correct.
The Texas Rangers, the state's top law enforcement officers, are assisting in the investigation along with the NFL Security Department. Brady's jersey was taken from the Patriots locker room at Houston's NRG Stadium after the team's 34-28 victory over Atlanta. Bunick said officials are aware the jersey is considered valuable. Quote, "So we are deeming this a pretty important case. We want our top investigators on this case and hopefully we'll make an arrest and more importantly, recover that jersey for Tom Brady."
John, I've got a hot take. I know exactly who took this jersey.
Ooh.
It was the Russians. Vladimir Putin somehow is responsible for taking this Tom Brady jersey. And he's going to match it up with his ring from their first Super Bowl win.
He wants it to go with Robert Kraft's ring.
I guarantee you it's the Russians, man. And hopefully, President Trump can, pull his lips back from Putin's cock long enough to research it. Come on, Trump. Do something.
Of all your theories, honestly, that's not the most far-fetched.
Well, that's the best theory I've had in a while. That's a hot take.
That's
not a
probably true,
lukewarm
too.
take.
That's probably true, too.
Yeah. Who's your do you have a theory?
My theory is that it was James White. He felt like he should have gotten MVP, and so he's going to go make himself $500,000 on the black market selling a Brady jersey.
The truck's not enough?
James Lewis.
James Lewis, correct. Yeah, I don't know who James White is.
No, because the truck he can have, and that's his to, but he still doesn't get that MVP trophy, and I'm pretty sure there's an MVP check that goes with that.
So is James White and Deion Lewis, like when they combine, are they a superhero team? Is that what happens? Like that they steal jerseys?
Like, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, James Lewis. Oh, they stole the ring. They put their rings together, and
They become James Lewis and Deion White.
Oh man, Deion White. That dude sounds like he's a soul singer, though. That dude sounds like he's got some soul. Deion White.
Deion White would have definitely won MVP.
John, that's enough about football. This is not a sports podcast, as you know. But what I want to talk about, let's talk about Buddhist monks for a second.
I'm
A
always
Buddhist
down.
monk in Myanmar has been caught hiding more than 4 million methamphetamine pills in his monastery, police said, following a record haul of stimulant seizure last year. The monk, named Arsara, was put into custody after police said they discovered hundreds of thousands of tablets in his car as he was driving from Shui Baho, I'm sure I said that correctly, village in the town of Maungdao. God, I'm good at this. In Rakhine State, bordering Bangladesh. I know I got that one right. Local
Nailed
police chief, whatever his name is, told whatever newspaper this is that they found 400,000 drug pills, like my reporting, when they searched his vehicle on Sunday evening. Then they went to the monk's monastery and found another 4.2 million pills. Myanmar is one. That's a lot of goddamn methamphetamines.
So are we at like what? Are we at like almost 5 million pills?
4,600,000. Yeah, a lot, almost. Myanmar is one of the world's.
But they found some in the car too.
That's what it was. 4.2 plus 400,000. So 4.6.
Oh, I got you.
I was a math major for a year before I switched.
Yeah, speaks poorly of math.
Myanmar is one of the world's top narcotic producing countries, manufacturing huge quantities of meth as well as opium and cannabis. We should probably go check out Myanmar. Might not be such a bad place.
Didn't you see the last Rambo? That's where that took place, man. No, thank you.
Well, if you're the white guy, you just mow down everybody.
Yeah, nope.
Meth pills are hugely popular across Asia right now. Last year, police confiscated a record 98 million stimulant tablets after seizing 50 million in 2015. It almost went up double in 1 year. That's insane. The number of drug prosecutions has also increased by about 50%. What's crazy about this is like these are the countries where they're really fighting drugs, and then it seems to get worse and worse and worse and worse. Like
because you keep creating a larger black market for something that people are always going to want.
Exactly. This is mind blowing. I mean, obviously, I'm not thinking, like my idea of Buddhism, just as many people's idea of Christianity or whatever, is like a very calm and beautiful religion, but you get into
but to think in a country like that they would use monks as a drug front, that's not surprising at all.
It's happened in it's happened in every religion that's ever existed. There's been a drug front somewhere, some kind of money laundering, all kinds of,
of course.
People just use religion and any kind of power structure or safe hiding place to pass off or make more money, whatever it is, right?
Absolutely. Doesn't surprise me it's happening there.
Doesn't surprise John Derby. That's breaking news.
Well, I'm not surprised when I hear things that are terrible all over the world.
As he sits in his apartment on his, are you on your triple stack air mattress right now, or are you on your hanging hammock?
I'm sitting in a desk chair.
You do this
I
podcast?
lay down while I do this?
Yeah, it sounds like you do. You're not worried about anything. You're just like, yeah. I'm in my hammock.
No, I
Life
just
is
expect the world to be terrible. So I'm only surprised when it's not. And there's not a lot of those stories.
Well, hopefully, if you believe your own bullshit, John, March 1st will change all of that. It's going to save the world.
March 1st, we'll be fine.
March 1st, everything's good. Yep. These guys in these stupid masks and their little internet videos. Yep, it's all going to be good.
Keep pushing it, man. Keep
Great,
pushing
John.
it. When your bank account disappears.
I don't have a bank account. What are they going to take? I have nothing to take. I'm not the enemy.
Well, you will be if you keep up this attitude.
I have $842 in my bank account, John. That's it. That's all I've got.
Hey, that's 800 more to the cause.
Can't wait to see the video. Thank you, 86 Charles, for your $864 donation to our cause.
Seriously? Hey, that's you know what? That might be worth. I'll pay half of that because that's good pub.
Ponying up.
So I'll cover half of that for you.
All right, that's enough. I got to go dig a hole and hide myself.
You should.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised.
Jesse's favorite part of the show.
From last week.
Hello, folks.
I don't have much to say this week because I was left rather confused by the art discussion.
Now, you're going to have to pardon my ignorance here, but what the fuck is the pinkest pink? That seems so arbitrary. Pink isn't a primary color. It's not naturally occurring the same way blue or red is, and black is the absence of color, right? So what are we talking about here? The blackest black is like if someone said, this banana is the most like a banana. And the pinkest pink would be, I made a banana bread that is the most like banana bread. I guess, but isn't whoever defined banana bread in charge of determining the most like banana bread? And if two people made banana bread and they both were in the banana bread ballpark, I'd still want to eat with both banana breads. And the meal would have more to do with how you use the banana bread combined with like icing or other hues of the other fruit, like maybe a fruit salad. You get it. The point is, there can't be a most pink more than what's already defined as pink. And I love banana bread. This is Jesse, and breakfast was my favorite part of last week's podcast.
It's time for the Facebook World News Update. This Real to Someone news update is brought to you by Anonymous Threats with Noble Intentions. A woman in Medford says she likes to beat off and then make bacon. A, gives her something to look forward to, and B, her snatch won't smell like bacon. Life skills. A man in Los Angeles said people who teabag in video games are the reason Trump is president. A man in Inglewood said Justin Timberlake released Sexy Back in 2006, which means there are 10-year-olds who have never known a world without sexy in it.
Greetings, citizens of the world. We are Anonymous.
Greetings, world. We are Anonymous.
The American dream is dead.
We are Anonymous. Now it's time for we the people to apply political pressure at every level of government.
America, great again.
Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?
Top 1% and their close associates whom they keep well supplied with money, status and
Trump's personality is a wild card. He's impulsive, he fights dirty, and he fights to win. He's got more chins than a Hong Kong phone book. He also happens to have a history with organized crime. If Trump goes to war with the Federal Reserve, this could get out of hand in ways that most can't even imagine.
Is that on a Tuesday? Because I think I had a guitar lesson that day.
Especially when geopolitics are factored in.
Listen, I can't worry about every little snafu. I have celebrities to talk to, like Moby.
As a result, the US dollar's position as the world reserve currency is going to be in play. Add to that backdrop a little social unrest on the domestic front. If recent history serves as any indicator...
Nobody cares, Moby. Nobody cares.
Oops. You can't unthrow a Molotov cocktail. So get your popcorn, and buckle up. The show is about to begin.
We're all gonna die! Ah! Oh, run!
A man in California said looked at this lady's tattoo on her arm out of the corner of his eye. Thought it was Jonah Hill's head. Weird. A man in Los Angeles said, so in the middle of the night last night, he took what he thought was a sinus medication. This morning he had the worst stomach pain ever. Turns out, it was an effing laxative. Big mistake. This Real to Someone news update is brought to you by Anonymous Threats with Noble Intentions.
Dad's got notebooks. We don't know what's in her notebooks. She's gonna show us all her notebooks. Little yellow pad.
So this is a notebook, but it's not my average notebook. It's in fact really tiny. It's about 4 by 6. I mean, it's exactly 4 by 6 because it says that on the front. But anyway, it's blue. It's only got 40 pages. It's been wet, I guess. It's crunchy. Makes a lot of noise when you open it. And it is Well, let me just read you the first page and it will become immediately apparent what it is. 3/21/2012. Major service. See receipt, including water pump replacement, radiator fan, oxygen sensor. $1,719.93. Jesus. Okay. 3/23/2012. Smog check. $69. 3/29/2012. Registration. $182. And then 3/24/2012. First fill-up after tune-up. $66.24. So this is, my own little portable OCD nugget where I keep all my car information. This is actually, I think, the last real notebook that I had for my GTI that I don't drive anymore. In fact, that I finally got rid of this last year. Well, I didn't really get rid of it. I still have it, but I don't drive it. Because every 2 years, I would enter this circle of doom that you can see illustrated very clearly before you, which is that you cannot get your car registered unless you get a smog check. You can't get a smog check if your oxygen sensor light is on. You can't get the oxygen sensor light turned off until some random crappy thing is fixed in your car. And you can't get that random crappy thing fixed until you have about $2,000 to fix it with. Apparently, water pump replacement, radiator fan, and oxygen sensor. And so the other thing is, you can't know this, but I do, is my registration for this car is actually due in September. So this was 6 months later. So that circle of doom just screws you every 2 years. It's so annoying. And I'm really hoping now that I have it's a used car, but it's new for me, a new car, that my oxygen sensor light doesn't go on, exactly, 1 month prior to me needing to get the goddamn smog check. Look, I like living in California. I actually really do. I appreciate it. But is the car manufactured for the oxygen sensor to go on 1 month prior to the smog check? Couldn't it go on a month after the smog check? I don't know. Anyway, the point is, this little illustration is made possible by the fact that my parents taught me when I was a kid, 15 and a half when I learned to drive, to write down every fill up that I got on my car. So here, and 7/14/2012, 96,567 miles. I spent $55 getting 13.77 gallons put in to my car at the Glendale Boulevard Valero, which is also across the street from my house. But, oh God, now you know where I live. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I have a different car now. You won't be able to find me. Anyway, what's also made possible by this whatever OCD behavior that was taught to me when I was young is that I know that vehicle had approximately 13.5 to 13.92 gallons capacity, right, when it was on empty. So the gas light goes on. You drive around about 10 to 15 miles, and then you get gas, and it's 13.92, and you drove really too far, right? So I discover at some point that the Unical near my house is whenever I would get my car filled up, it would say something like 14.3 gallons, and my car doesn't have a tank that holds 14.3 gallons of gas, which means that gas station was cheating me, right? So I end up on some weird vendetta, but only in my notebook, not in real life, where I'd write stuff down like 103,023 miles, gold card, 238.1 miles, 14.146, Unical, my house. What? And, before that, I would be like, gas light just went on. There's no way. So I'm super angry in my notebook, of course. And then I never did anything about it because in addition to being OCD, I just get super distracted. So, I might be really angry when I'm filling up, and then I would just drive away and say what I'm going to do, send a note to Eric Garcetti. So then, anyway, eventually my car started just being filled up properly at that Unical, and it was like 13.57 gallons or whatever. So somebody either complained or they just fixed it. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is sometimes it's important to keep track. I don't know. I know this is a weird little thing to talk about, but the truth is all my little notebooks are weird. And this one really seems to be the most practical, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go buy a new notebook for my used, but new to me, car. And I'm going to start writing stuff down. And then someday, no, probably never. I'm probably never going to read that to you. But if you ever want a ride in my car, it's awesome because it really, 4 people can ride very comfortably and there's heated seats. That's it, really. Have a good week. I'm going to try and have a good week. And if I don't have a good week, I promise that I will only tweet about it like 60 or 70, 100 times.
I've brought bread
to men, women, and children.
I've brought water with lemon for the table.
I have hot tea.
Can I box that for you?
I'll bring your change.
Can you tell me that work story that you're going to tell me? The one about the thing in the fridge?
Oh, yeah. A travesty. Yeah, there was an announcement once when I was working at Software in Scotts Valley. And the announcement was that somebody had gone into the refrigerator and drank somebody else's cancer medicine. And it was very expensive, and the person whose cancer medicine really missed it. And since it was some mysterious chemicals, it probably wasn't as good as just orange juice that you might have gotten from Anita Bryant or some such. There's not a great ending to it, except the CEO, who is a very cool person, who now lives up in northern Michigan, just outside of Traverse City. Where? She offered, and I'm sure she did, to pay to replace this very expensive cancer medicine, and then also offered the advice that whoever did it should probably go talk to their doctor.
And
as far as I know, everyone lived, but I'm not going to keep it in touch.
And that was John Wagman. Thanks, John. Appreciate the story. It was great.
Shout out to John. Great story.
I got to tell you right off the bat, whatever happened to whoever drank that, they got what they deserved. You don't drink other people's stuff in the fridge.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the absolute worst. Especially in a public place where everybody knows you're bringing stuff.
Yeah, you're an adult. That's an office. Like, you don't know people like that.
Oh, man. You remember roommates taking your shit out of the fridge?
That's exactly what it made me think of, and I never really had that problem. I always had very courteous roommates. Anytime they ever wanted something, hey, can I borrow that, or I'll pay you back, or I'll trade you. I mean, no one was ever shady with the people, in terms of my roommate situations. But yeah, that would sure piss me off if I went to the fridge for my cancer medication and somebody slammed it because they were thirsty.
Just what kind of binge are you on that you're just digging into the fridge and you see there's a prescription taped over the front of this OJ, and you're still I don't give a f***.
I'm
all in.
My thought was that it was probably, let's assume it was completely unlabeled. Clear bottle, and it looks like orange juice. I mean, how high or how hungover do you have to be to just go and take that from somebody? And how far into that do you realize this does not taste like orange juice? Because I have to assume that there's some sort of flavor to it that's more cancer medicine than orange juice.
I've only been in this situation once where I was really high and I raided, a community fridge, and I ate ice cream that wasn't mine. And I felt terrible. I felt awful.
Yeah, and you should.
I apologized, but it was mint chocolate chip, and I was high as hell. That's way different than orange juice.
And at least that's still a domestic situation. That wasn't at your job.
No, it was my cousin's girlfriend, and I know I can pay you back.
Right, but again, that's still a living situation versus a professional situation.
Right. Well, in either way, it's I just couldn't imagine just digging in at work. I felt so bad about it at home. It's.
Well, yeah, because it's rude.
And what do you think happened? What do you think happened in the aftermath when it was announced? And it got around the office that so-and-so's cancer orange juice.
Oh, I'll tell you straight up, if I were the guy that did it, I wouldn't have said anything ever. I take that to the grave. I take
You
that
wouldn't have
to the grave.
Maybe I wouldn't have said anything, but I might have dropped $500 in said person's office anonymously.
Well, depending on how I don't even know how much it was. Depending on how much it was, and
that's what I'm saying. I don't know how much it is. I'm not going to do any research, but I'm just going to drop a bunch of money on that office because
But what if you're way over or way short?
I went out.
What if you drop $500 and it's like, no, dude, that was $1,000. You didn't do.
I'm just going to go ahead and say, like, I don't know if you know this, but black market cancer drugs, $500. I'm in touch with the scene, bro.
I'd feel terrible about it. Don't get me wrong, which is why I would never do that. But on the off chance I were that guy, nah, I'm not. I take that to the grave. I just have to live with that.
I just hope that you were right that it was completely unlabeled. Because if there's any kind of script thing on it, or then it's
then you're just a monster.
Absolutely awful. Then you're talking about somebody. Ugh, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's someone being a savage.
Ugh. All right, John. Thank you so much to Deb for harvesting stories.
Always,
of course. And was it John?
John Wagman.
Right? John Wagman, great story. Thank you so much for contributing to 86 Charles. We love and appreciate the stories. Keep pouring them in through our connector. We have a connector. Her name is Deb Loftus. Yeah. She's all over the world. She's omniscient. She's everywhere. She's amazing.
She's the best.
Big thanks to Jesse McIntosh as well. John, who else we got to thank?
Who else do we have to thank? I don't know. Who else do we got? Anybody that listens, obviously.
Well, I would like to thank our Lord and Savior Odin. He's been doing a great job. Things are going well. The trees are growing great. Snow's coming down. We might be getting out of the drought. We got a lot of rain this week. Is California out of the drought? Probably not yet.
Yeah, no, probably not yet.
We got a lot of time.
Getting there.
A lot of snow. John, where can the people find us?
Well, go to 86charles.com. Makes perfect sense.
John, that's 86charles.com. Is that correct?
86charles.com.
We're on the Instagram and the Twitters at Company Blaster. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. You just Google 86 Charles.
Nope.
And you'll only get a
couple
dick pics before you get us. No, you can Google 86 Charles.
If you Google 86 Charles, we don't pop up.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I keep telling you, it's like a street in Massachusetts, I think.
Do you think that anonymous is more powerful than us? Because we are truly anonymous, bro.
Do I think that they're more powerful than we are? Yes. Do I think that we are lesser known and more anonymous than they are? Absolutely.
No, what they strive to be is anonymous, and we are truly 100% anonymous.
That's true.
Like there's no more power in the world than being anonymous.
That is for sure.
You know what they say about the scariest billionaires in the world, John? You can't find them on Google. That's us.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's a fair point.
They've scrubbed their own names from Google.
That makes us sound a lot cooler than we don't get listened to.
Totally. We are independently wealthy, and we don't care if anybody listens. Actually, no, we want you to listen. Please check us out.
Yeah, no, seriously.
And if you do,
anybody, tell your friends.
Help us out. Help us out by going to 86charles.com like Rick Derby does and clicking on the Amazon link.
We always appreciate
You click on the Amazon link, and all of your regular Amazon purchases, we get a little cut. We get 4%, and then 6%, and then 6.5%, and then 8%, and it just keeps going up the more you click. So just keep on clicking, America.
We love you. Do you think Rick realizes that he's not only our main audience, but also our main funding? He holds a lot of power in this show. I'm glad he doesn't wield it.
I think we've got like 5 to 10 people clicking through.
That's cool.
Rick is, we know it. We know Rick's doing it.
He's
Keep it up,
easily
Rick.
the most consistent, though.
Those kids need more things.
That's true.
Those kids need more things. Keep buying them things.
Wife needs things.
John, why don't you buy more things for the kids and send them to Alaska? Why don't you go to Alaska and see your brother? Do you not care?
Well, I mean, that's the mean way to say it.
All right. Well, those poor kids.
No, poor kids. Are you kidding me? Do you know what a favor I'm doing by not being? I am toxic. It's a good thing I'm not around them.
Wow. That's terrible. You're a terrible uncle. I can't.
Or I'm a great uncle because I realize that I am not a positive influence.
That hurts me, John.
Why?
I take big pride in being an uncle.
Oh.
I take a lot of pride in being an uncle.
Well,
I rile those kids up. I throw them around, and then I hand them back to mom and dad, and I leave. It's amazing.
I guess that's one way to do it.
John, You know what time it is, John,
do.
and I always get them gifts. I always get my nieces, and I have a ton of nieces. I have way more nieces and nephews than you. I guarantee it.
I'm sure you do.
Ugh. All right, John, it's time to 86 something. Do not, for your life, 86 nieces and nephews, because that would be
No, why would I do that? I'm not a
because you're an asshole.
Yeah, but I'm not a monster.
Debatable.
What I'm 86ing being that guy. And what I mean is when you say, I don't want to be that guy, but then you continue to proceed and be that guy for whatever the situation is. Stop it. If you know you're doing it, don't do it. Don't be that guy because you know who that guy is and you know you're being it. That's why you prefaced. Stop it. 86 it. Travis, don't be that guy.
All right, don't be that guy and hide in your bunker for March 1st because the end is nigh.
Yeah. Or maybe it's the beginning.
Dun dun.
The new boy in the neighborhood lives downstairs and it's understood. He's there just to take good care of me, like he's one of the family. Charles in charge of our days and our nights. Charles in charge of our wrongs and our rights. And I see